Hi, my name is Kinsey Caldwell, and I'm doing topic number 3. Is Socrates guilty of making the better argument appear worse? Throughout the book Clouds, Aristophanes makes Socrates to look like he is making the better argument appear worse. He thinks that he does this because when Socrates asks Socrates to teach him the worse argument, which makes the weaker case stronger. Personally, I believe that Aristophanes is mocking Socrates because he manipulates people so that they think whatever he thinks, and to him, whatever he thinks is right. Consider how Aristophanes raises this issue in the Clouds. When both of these two types of arguments are going on, Aristophanes makes the better argument lose to the worse. This implies that Socrates is guilty by Aristophanes' account. What charge does Aristophanes think Socrates is guilty of? Aristophanes thinks that Socrates is teaching people about things that don't matter at all, and that don't matter to our society. For example, he teaches children and people how far a gnat can jump, and many other things of that nature. These are things that just don't matter and that no one would even care to know or would want to find out. There are things that society doesn't care about, and they won't help solve any problems in life or fix illnesses. Aristophanes just thinks it's all nonsense. Another thing that Socrates teaches people is that they shouldn't believe in the gods. He doesn't think that they're worthy of being worshipped, and there are many people who have a problem with this. To clearly explain what these charges are and why they are problematic is because they don't matter to society and they don't make sense as to why anyone would want to know them. All it is useless and nonsense information. The gods are worshipped by the people of Athens, and to be claiming that the gods don't exist and that we should look up to the clouds because that's who we're praying to is just nonsense. To take a look at how Socrates answers these charges in the Apology is that he's being accused of being injustice and is a busybody investigating the things beneath the earth and in the heavens and making the weaker speech the stronger and teaching these things to others. In other words, he is corrupting the young. And in being charged this, he answers that he isn't in fact corrupting the young. In the book, Socrates says to Meletus that he says, "You have sufficiently shown that you have never given any thought to the young, and you make clear your own lack of concern, as you care nothing for the things for which you have brought me to court." He then goes on to say to Meletus, "Come then, do you bring me here asserting that I corrupt the young voluntarily, and make them more lavish and involuntary?" He goes on again to say, "And if I corrupt involuntary, it is not the law to bring me here for such involuntary offenses, but rather for you, in private, to take me aside and teach me. For it is evident that if I learn, I will at least cease what I do involuntary." He also says that Meletus never cared either much or little about these matters. Meletus then replies to him and says, "I say that you do not believe in gods at all." And after that, they choose to listen to his words, but he does not force them to believe what he says. And that is another way that Socrates defends himself, by saying that he teaches people these things, but he doesn't force his views upon them and force them in their minds. He is also charged with not believing in the gods, and this is how Socrates defends himself with that. Socrates says, "Let him answer men, and do not clamor insistently. Is there anyone who does not believe that there are horses, but believes that there are affairs related to horses? Or anyone who does not believe in flute players, but believes in matters related to flutes? There is not. O best of men, lest you do not wish to answer, I speak to you and these others, but at least answer to this. Is there anyone who believes in affairs related to daimonia, but does not believe in diamonds?" He then says, "How helpful of you to answer reluctantly when compelled by those men. Now then, you assert that I believe and teach things related to diamonds. Therefore, whether old or new, according to your account, I do believe in things related to diamonds, and this you swore into the indictment. But if I believe in things related to that, surely there is also much necessity for me to believe in them. Is it not thus? It sure is. I put you down as agreeing, since you do not answer. But with respect to them, do we not believe that they are gods or children of gods? Do you assert or not?" He goes on to also say, "Thus then, I do not believe in them, as you say, and if they are some kind of god, then it is this about which I say you riddle and jest, asserting that I do not believe in gods, though I believe in them. But if daemons are certain bastard children of gods, either from nymphs or from other or from some other of whom it is said, what human being believes in children of God's but not in God's? For it would be strange. Just as if someone believed in mules, children, horses, or asses, but did not believe that they are horses. Socrates does in fact believe in the gods, as I just read. He gives examples that show that he does believe in them several times, and that is what I just read from the book. He then goes on to say that he will philosophize until he dies. So in saying this, if Socrates is to be let go with a threat upon his life not to philosophize ever again, he said that he would still philosophize no matter what and ignore that threat. No matter what the cost is, he will always be a philosopher. And he says that that is his purpose in life, to be a philosopher, and he will never stop being that. In the end, do you think Socrates is guilty of a serious charge? Personally, no, I don't think that he should be charged with a serious crime. I think this because he didn't force his views on anyone. Therefore, he wasn't corrupting the young. They chose to accept them and listen to him. They could have easily done the opposite. If he was really corrupting the young into believing that there weren't any gods, then he would be physically threatening the little kids into believing what he says, and he does not do this. In my eyes, he isn't guilty. He's innocent, and I don't see why they don't see that either.